Hello, and you're watching The Real. I'm Kevin Gomez. During his 14-year NBA career, Michael Jordan teamed with Nike and were responsible for generating $10 billion for the world's economy. This might seem like an absurd number, but I kid you not. The duo not only dominated the sports landscape for years with their revolutionary shoe designs, they also spawned a new generation of youngsters who treat their footwear as rare collector's items. They're called Sneakerheads. Brandon Nix and Jarrell Lynch will help us cross over to understand the sole obsession of someone who loves a fresh pair of kicks. Thank you guys for joining us, Brandon, Jarrell.
How's it going?
Thank you for being here.
Glad to be here.
No problem. This is a new breed of collectors that have sprung about, the sneakerheads. Well, it's a new term. How long do you guys think it's existed?
It's been around since the time hip hop started, because hip hop and the whole sneaker thing, they correlate and they come together. Like you look at artists like Run DMC, you know, they've had popular songs like My Adidas, you know, even Nelly with Air Force Ones. So, you know, from the time that hip hop started, well, the whole thing about fashion and hip hop is always like looking the freshest, looking the flyest. So even from the early 80s, you had to have the flyest sneakers on with the fly outfit. And that's when, like, you know, the whole sneaker thing became popular.
Cool. Well, thank you for that small little insight on this brand new fad that, well, not brand new since you said it started way back. Let's take a look at the film.
When you really love sneakers, you'll do just about anything to get your hands on them.
These sneakers were my own little outlet. It was like you could wear a pair of sneakers that fit your style or something that you're expressing. It's an expression of yourself. So depending on what type of sneakers you like, can express the type of person you are. Some people say that's stupid, but to me it's the truth. I like to express myself. So as you can see, these are all a little bit different in their own right. So it's all an expression of me.
So at first it was to impress other people for the sneakers. And then I got into fashion and I started doing it on my own. Started getting more into sneakers. As I got into the 7th and 8th grade, I started saving my allowance, buying pairs of sneakers on my own. Sneakers, it wasn't as expensive as these, but you know, I started buying my own sneakers, started buying my own clothes. And then got into high school, started working a little bit, then started getting more sneakers, saving more money for sneakers. And then it started becoming a way to express myself.
Like you can appreciate the design, the materials, and I started looking at them less as sneakers and more like collector's items. And like some of these I haven't even worn. Like right here, these three, never worn them, and these might never even touch the ground.
The marriage between hip-hop and sneaker culture is evident in songs like My Adidas by Run DMC, even more recently in songs like Air Force One and Stepped on My J's by Nelly. Sneakers aren't just a fashion statement, it's become a necessity, an obsession, and for some, a way for them to show their identity. Sneakerheads will go to great lengths to get their favorite sneakers. No matter how far and how expensive they are, it's all about the kicks.
Peep the technique.
When I was young, I couldn't get what I wanted. I didn't have any money. My parents wouldn't buy me stuff, so when I got older, I kind of relived my childhood.
Some sneaker stores like Flight Club, they sell like some hard to find sneakers, really hard to find sneakers. Usually sneakers with old releases or limited releases.
It's a sneakerhead's dream, I could say. There's a whole bunch of old, illustrious kicks there that when you go in there, you're just like, wow. I could probably name every sneaker on the shelves. And it just warms my heart to see other sneakerheads in there selling sneakers or buying sneakers.
Look around you.
Okay.
Look around you. There you go.
We have everything from
We have everything.
what to what?
We have everything from Jordans to SBs, and the thing is, being able to consignment, you can have a lot of old stock. Basically, you know, we're a consignment store, so people bring in their old shoes, or brand new obviously, but old dead, well they call it dead stock, or new old stock, is what I refer to it to. and we're able to have a wide selection because of that. You know, as opposed to a retail store, they just order stuff and whatever's in. We're basically trying to constantly get rid of stuff, which we are too at the same time. But you see a lot of old stuff here that you're not going to see in a regular store.
My ideas walk through constant doors and roam all over Coliseum.
I had to have them.
The Sugar Ray 8s. They're like this, except instead of blue, it's black and green, and it's a rare sneaker. There's only about 27, 28. And I was lucky because they usually go around $2,000, maybe more, but a friend of mine was able to get me one. It wasn't in my size, and I squeezed my foot in as tight as I could, but it was worth it.
Some things I could have bought instead of sneakers. When I had my car, I could have bought an exhaust, an air intake, some airbags.
I don't have no money left, of course, to do anything else. Most of the time I'm broke. If some rare comes out, I have no choice. I have to buy.
When it comes to addiction, someone is normally hiding pain or feeling that there's a lack or a void that needs to be filled.
You know, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I rob people before, in the past and got me some sneakers, but I don't do that no more. I'm a changed woman.
When someone is enslaved by an actual habit, it's not healthy.
It's healthy as long as you don't put sneakers before other priorities like food, bills, school. As long as you know how to put it in its right perspective, it's not unhealthy.
Chill. Come on, man, just give me Poppy number, man, for real, man. Playing.
My mom says there's nothing new under the sun. So things just morph and change. From what it was to me, it's dead.
There's never too many of anything. There's never too much of anything. Unless it's like drugs or something, then too much drugs, obviously there's too much of that because then you're gonna, die. But sneakers, no, not sneakers.
Great film. Those guys are extremely out there. Do you guys think that collecting sneakers to that extent, is it more of an addiction or an obsession?
It depends on the person that you speak of. You saw there was a couple of different people in there, but I'm thinking on the obsession level, probably Hanny. Hanny was definitely very out there with his need for the sneakers, not so much of it being a want, which is one of our main questions we asked. What do you consider it, a want or a need? And that pretty much established whether it was an obsession or just something they like to do. So with Hanny, I would definitely say it was an obsession for the fact that it was just, it's a reaction. Like as soon as he sees a fresh pair of sneakers or something new or something that's popular, he's got to get it. Doesn't matter how expensive it is.
And the interesting thing with him is like, what's the difference between him and the other people interviewed? It's like, he doesn't really wear his sneakers. He just collects them just to say he has them. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
I think that's what separates him from everyone else. Like we have other people like his friend Tamel Clarence and my friend Rudy. They collect sneakers and they wear them at the same time. But Hanny, he collects them and just doesn't wear them at all because he doesn't find that very cool in a way.
I remember we had one conversation with him. He was talking about how it was just for the fact he could buy a pair of sneakers for like $4,000, $5,000 and sell it for like twice as much online. And it's just like, I mean, profit-wise, yeah, that's good, but you don't wear the sneakers once. You put all this out there, and what if you don't get as much back? So that was something that we really had to contemplate on, like, okay, how are we going to angle this? How are we going to put this? And it just worked out that way.
Wow, that's completely crazy. Your friend Rudy, he mentioned that he had to squeeze his foot into one of those sneakers that he bought.
Yeah.
Do most of them do it? Do all of them do it?
I mean, it depends on how bad you want it.
Yeah.
Some people, they see a sneaker and they really like it, but, they don't have the exact size. If it's somewhere close to your size or even a little bit bigger than your size, they'll find some way to put that sneaker on.
Right.
They'll take the sole out and wear it. Or, they'll just say, F it, screw it. I'll buy a half size bigger just so I can have that sneaker because I want it so bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tamel's like that. Tamel actually wears a size 13, and that's not the easiest thing to find on a regular basis, and sometimes you have to pay more for that size since it's so rare. So, well, not so rare, but just it's a harder thing to find than like a size 10 or something like that.
Right.
So because of that, sometimes it's like, all right, well, it's that much money, but I got to make the sacrifice for it. If I can get money off for getting a size 12, I'll just squeeze my foot into it.
Wow, that's insane. Well, guys that have a lot of sneakers, they're meant to be cool, you know, they're perceived as cool. But do you think it's like a normal obsession for them? Aren't girls usually the ones that should be obsessed with shoes?
Shoes, yes. Sneakers, no. I mean, like, there are girl sneakerheads as well, as we also established in the film, which was another interesting aspect to really go off of. Carmenia, who we had in the film, actually, she had, I guess, a different way of going about it when it came to her giving away her shoes, as well as making sure she has the freshest, nicest, newest pair as well.
Right.
So, I mean, it depends on the lifestyle as well. You know?
Yeah, I think, you know, for guys, well, the way how I look at it, I don't think it's that crazy, you know, because I think you can have certain sneakers for certain things. You know, you can have sneakers to play ball, you can have sneakers to rock.
Right.
But I think you go a little overboard with it when you have sneakers that you don't really need. Yeah, or you don't really wear often or need anyway.
Need is the main word. Yeah.
You know.
You don't need to buy a pair of $4,000 sneakers.
Yeah, like what's the need for that? Or have more than like 20, 30 pair.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know, one of Hanny, you know, again, you know, he has over 400 pairs of sneakers. That is a lot of sneakers.
He can make his own store.
Exactly.
So wait a minute. So what? Very serious question. What led you guys to do a film on this? Sneakers, meaning out of all the things, sneakers.
Long story short, because of our setup with who we wanted to, like, pretty much every person had to come up with a different topic. Like, that was just a requirement no matter what. Okay. We didn't choose groups, nothing like that. Everybody had to have their own specific topic. I chose my topic just because it was something that my friend actually was into, and it worked out very well. From there, Brandon picked up on it and liked it, and we ended up pushing for it more, and we ended up getting the topic to work with.
Wow.
Yeah, originally I had chose a friend of mine who was a model, but the teacher didn't pick my project. So when Jarrell's project was picked, I figured, hey, you know, this is a good opportunity because I have friends who are sneakerheads. I know people who work in sneaker stores, and I figured, you know, the accessibility, you know, is good for us. I figured, hey, this could be a great project if we do it the right way. And that's why, I decided to join with Jarrell and try to make this happen.
And which is what he annoyed me with every single day.
Well, do you think out of all these guys that you filmed, if any of them would change?
Well, we already had one of the people we interviewed was a former sneakerhead. And, and he said something very interesting towards the end of the movie. It's dead for him because it's like he's already, really reached his peak, so to speak, when it comes to sneakers, because he already had everything he wanted from his childhood. And I think others like Tamel and Clarence, they will probably, as they get older, and when they get to the point of, they pretty much have everything they wanted. Any sneaker that they couldn't get in childhood, they probably will get sometime soon. And at that point, they'll probably say, all right, I'm done. I don't need it. I have other things to focus on, buying a house or getting a new car or whatever.
Get married.
Yeah. if their wives can tolerate it.
Well, it's a very expensive hobby, so I hope they have good jobs to cover that.
Yeah,
Brandon, Jarrell, thank you very much for being with us.
Thanks for having us, man.
And thank you guys for joining us. Make sure you join us on the next episode of The Real, where we interview real people with real stories. I'm your host, Kevin Gomez, and thanks for watching.